Hi, and welcome back to Low Content Publishing for Beginners. My name is Rachel Harrison Sund. So when performing keyword research, we're always looking to find those nice low competition keywords to help our books break through the clutter and get more eyeballs on them in the Amazon store. But how exactly can you tell if a keyword is high competition or low competition? So in general, what I tend to look for are keywords that have a high monthly search volume and a low number of search results. Now, other factors also exist, such as how big the competition is in terms of how many reviews they have, how high of quality of books they have up for sale, can I beat them, that sort of thing. But my main focus is normally the relationship between search volume and search results. It's not just enough to have a high search volume. If you've got a keyword with a search volume of 20,000 searches per month, but there are also just as many results, then that's not really going to get you anywhere. Conversely, it's not enough to just have a low number of search results. If you find a keyword with only a few hundred search results, but the search volume is less than 100, then again, that's not really going to do you any favors either. So it's all about the relationship between those two figures. So what are those magic numbers? Now, unfortunately, there isn't a magic number, but generally what I tend to go for is I try to find keywords that have a search volume of at least 1,000 searches per month, and ideally search results of around 2,000 or 3,000. Now, let me be really clear about this. This is not easy. This is actually really, really difficult. And I'm not trying to get all of my keywords to fit the bill with those two parameters. That's basically just going to be impossible. So what I try to do is just see if I can get at least one or two of my main keywords out of my entire mix. So remember, you can put keywords in all of your title information and the 7 keyword slots. So you've got room for at least 10 to 12 different keywords there. If you can get even just one or two of those keywords to fit as closely as possible to those two parameters, then in that situation, I would say you're good to go and you can move ahead and experiment with whatever that idea is that you have. If you can get at least a couple of your keywords to come close to those metrics, then I think you're doing okay, and it's not going to matter as much if some of the rest of your keywords are a little bit more competitive. You just want at least one or two out of your entire keyword mix to be as close to those two parameters as possible. So how do I determine the monthly search volume for a keyword? Well, there used to be one or two free keyword tools available that would give you this information. I don't know of any that currently exist, so if you have a link to any free versions of this, you can leave them in the comments below. Personally, I use Publisher Rocket. Publisher Rocket will not only serve up the number of the monthly search volume, as well as the number of results that show up on Amazon, but they also serve up a bunch of other information. They let you know all of the other related keywords, so that's really handy. That oftentimes leads me to further keywords that I hadn't even thought of before, that are basically just longer tail versions of the seed keyword that I've just entered. And it also gives you some information like the average monthly earnings that particular competitors are making that are ranking for that keyword that I'm looking for. So it's just got a bunch of really useful information, and that is what I use. So let's flip the screen now, and I'll just take you through a super quick example of how I would use Publisher Rocket to narrow down a short list of keywords and try and figure out which one out of those 3 is going to work the best for my book. So let's flip the screen. All right, I'm in Publisher Rocket, so I'm going to go to keyword search. Now, let's suppose that we've decided to pursue a camping journal, and 3 of the related keywords I'm researching are camping journal, camping diary, and camping logbook. So I'm going to enter all 3 of those terms into Publisher Rocket, and I'm going to check out the results that come up and decide which one I'm going to use for my main keyword. Okay, so we'll start with camping journal, and you got to make sure that you choose book here and not ebook. So first thing I'm going to do is hit the analyze button. All right, so right off the bat, this does not look like a good keyword. We've got 34,000 competitors. So number of competitors are the number of results that come up when you type this keyword into Amazon. So 34,000, that is not looking good. Then we head over to the estimated searches per month, and it's less than 100. So right away, I know this is not a keyword that I'm going to want to use. But let's check out the other two and see what we find there. So in order to search for a new word, I'm just going to go to this new search button. And then I'm going to enter camping diary. Again, I'm going to be sure to click book. And let's hit that analyze button and see what happens. All right, so this is a little bit better. It's got slightly less competitors and slightly more searches per month. So it's better than the last keyword, but this is still not looking good for me. So let's go ahead and try out our last keyword here. Now, I want to look for camping logbook, and I know that logbook can be spelled two different ways. So some people spell it as one word. So let's check that out, and then we'll also check out the other spelling as well. All right, so far fewer competitors here at 6,800. It's still not ideal, but it's a lot better than the last two keywords that we looked at. But again, we've got less than 100 in terms of search volume here. So it's not great. Let's check out our other spelling. Okay, so this one is getting close to 1,000 searches per month. But again, we're kind of back up to that 13,000 in terms of number of competitors. So if I were to choose one of these 4 different keywords, one of the metrics that I can look at here to help me in that decision is the competitive score. Now, the competitive score is basically just going to take the information out of those other 4 columns and look at them in combination and assign it a competitive score. So 100 is the most competitive that you can possibly be, and 1 is the least. So I would just take a quick look at that right-hand column. I'd go down the line here. So obviously our first one, competitive score of 100. I'm not going to go anywhere near that with a 10-foot pole. 90, that's not very good either. Then we've got 70 and 76. So none of these keywords really fit the bill. If I was going to choose one of these, I'd really like the competitive score to probably be around 60 or 65 at least. Now, the person who created Publisher Rocket, he recommends not going above a competitive score of 40, but that is for things like fiction books and nonfiction books, where really it's a lot more risky to sit down and write an entire book than it is to just quickly throw together one of these low content journals. So there's a lot less risk involved with creating these. So I like to put my competitive score a little bit higher. I'm not really too bothered about that, but these just generally don't look good for me. One other thing you can do though is, because Publisher Rocket is serving you up all of these related keywords, you can just go down the list, hitting analyze, and see what you get. So we've got a couple with competitive scores of 27 here, but you can see they've got less than 100 searches per month, so I'm not really going to be interested in those. Same with this 35 here, that's less than 100. We've got this one, Camping Journal Logbook. We've got close to 1,000 searches per month and, about 12,000 results. So that's not really ideal, but it's probably one of the best ones out of this entire list. 12,000 results is far fewer than 34,000 results. And again, you can just kind of go down the line here and look at all of these other keywords. Again, none of these are really looking good to me. They've got very low search volume and high numbers of competitors. This one, we don't have any. And again, these aren't great. This camping logbook probably would be the best one to go with out of this group. But again, none of these are really hitting the mark for me. But I just kind of wanted to take you through the process that I go through when I've got a small group of keywords. Obviously, I would be doing this with a longer list of probably 10 or 12 different keywords, and I'd just be entering them all, I'd be comparing them against one another, and I'd be looking at all of the related keywords that come up to see if any of those are less competitive than the ones that I have initially entered into Publisher Rocket. But like I said, none of these look particularly good to me, so I would probably just scrap all these and see what other keywords I could come up with around this idea. If none of those keywords were any good, then probably I would just scrap this entire idea of having some sort of a low content book around the idea of camping. All right, there you have it. Don't forget to hit subscribe and the bell to get notified each time I make one of these videos available. You can download my free guide, 3 Steps to Publishing Your First Low Content Book in Less Than a Day, by clicking on the link in the description. More low content publishing tips over at my blog at rachelharrisonsund.com. And I think that's it. So have a great day, guys. See you later.